Which is better, Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2024 or Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2023? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison of the Moto G Stylus 5G 2024 versus the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2023. Now, as the names of these two phones imply, the 2024 model of the device is the successor to last year's G Stylus 5G 2023. And going from one generation to another, we've gotten quite a few major upgrades and improvements, and I'm looking forward to showing you all the various differences here in this video. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is pricing and availability. Now, both of these devices do feature MSRPs of $399. However, if you do get them through a carrier, I'm sure you can save a lot of money. For example, for the Moto G Stylus 5G 2024, you can actually get this phone for free at Metro by T-Mobile if you port in from another carrier, and you can get it for just $29.99 with a brand new line. So that's a lot less money compared to getting it factory unlocked. Also keep in mind though the amount of storage you're getting as well, because the prepaid model of this phone does have 128 gigabytes versus the unlocked model of it, which has double that at 256. And it's pretty much the same situation here for the G Stylus 5G 2023. This device has been offered at a variety of different carriers for the last year or so. And in addition to that, I do recommend looking into buying this device used because a lot of people barely use their smartphone and then they sell it later on eBay. So I'm sure even if you want to go that method, you can get a device that's in good condition at a fraction of that full MSRP. Now, you probably already noticed it, and this is actually quite a bit of a surprise to me because I've never had this problem with any Motorola smartphone, or really any smartphone from any other brand I've covered, but we actually have a screen defect here on the device. I have not noticed this previously. I've owned this phone for about a year now, but you can see right there, it's kind of hard to see, but you can slightly see it. There is a slightly different look there with the pixels on this device. It's slightly darker right there. So it looks like there is some sort of defect or malfunction that's going on with the display here on the device. Now, if you're wondering if this might be on the exterior of the display or glass, when I turn off the display, you cannot notice it at all. I can't see any evidence of anything being wrong right there. But then when I head back into the phone itself, then you can see once again that blemish right there. And then it's there no matter what type of screen I'm on. If it's kind of a lighter screen like this one, it's harder to see, but the darker the screen, the easier it is to see here. So again, one little blemish there, but I just want to point that out because that's something I don't see too often with smartphones in really any pricing category. But that then does bring us into the first difference with these two phones, and it's a pretty major one, and that is the displays. So these two devices have different display sizes, but also different display technologies. You can probably already notice side by side, the display here on the G Stylus 5G 2024 is way brighter and vibrant compared to the 2023 model. And that's because this display is POLED compared to an IPS LCD display with the 2023 model of the device. So IPS LCD, it's not as good as OLED in pretty much every way. It's a cheaper display technology. Along with that, you do have to have slightly larger bezels to accommodate that type of display. So moving on from LCD to POLED is a big improvement here with the G Stylus 5G series. Now, in addition to that, the display is slightly bigger here this time around, with it being 6.7 inches compared to 6.6 inches with the predecessor. But not only are we getting a bigger display here with the device, but the actual form factor of the phone is no larger than the predecessor model. They're essentially the same size, it's just that we're getting smaller bezels here with the G Stylus 5G 2024. Now, in addition to that, both displays are 1080p. They also both feature very fast and smooth 120Hz refresh rates, so it is great to see here. We are getting a PPI of 395 with the G Stylus 5G 2024 compared to 399 with the predecessor model here. And then both devices do have 20:9 aspect ratios, so a more narrow but taller form factor, and we are getting an 88.2% screen-to-body ratio with the 2024 model compared to an 87.5% screen-to-body ratio with the G Stylus 5G 2023. So not super different when it comes to the bezel sizes here and the screen-to-body ratio in general, but without a doubt, the whole display experience here is much better with the G Stylus 5G 2024. And then with both of these phones having very large displays, that makes them excellent for using the stylus because you're getting such a large canvas here to do drawings, write notes, and various other things. Now up top here, both devices do have hole punches for the front-facing cameras, and both front cameras are 16 megapixels. Now I have already done individual reviews for both of these phones here in the channel, so definitely take a look at the various photo and video samples from all the various cameras on these devices to see really how they stand. Now when it comes to storage, as I mentioned, the prepaid models of these devices do come with half the amount of storage, but the factory unlocked models of the phones do come with 256 gigabytes, which is really a very generous amount of storage to have in 2024, and I feel like that will be plenty for most people out there. Even for myself, as kind of a more smartphone power user, I find 256 to kind of be that perfect amount. And in addition to that, both of these phones are compatible with microSD card expansion, so it is really nice also having that option to be able to add in a microSD card to offload photos and videos, for example, to free up some of that internal space. Now, wireless charging is a nice innovation that we're getting here with the G Stylus 5G 2024, because that feature is present here. So there is no wireless charging with the G Stylus 5G 2023, but this time around, with the 2024 model of the device, we do have wireless charging, and it is compatible with up to 15 watts. Now keep in mind though, you are going to have to use a wireless charger that supports 15 watt wireless charging. I know a lot of them support more like 5 watts, so just keep that in mind, but I'm really glad that feature is here, and I'm also really glad that the phone can actually recharge at such a rapid pace. Another awesome improvement this time around is how you're actually going to get into your device. So both phones do have face unlock, which is great, but with the G Stylus 5G 2024, we have an in-display fingerprint sensor, so it's very fast and responsive. Let's try that again. And then here on the G Stylus 5G 2023, we have a side-mounted fingerprint sensor. Now that's not necessarily bad at all, I don't mind it, but I still prefer to have the in-display fingerprint sensor like we're getting here with the G Stylus 5G 2024. It just makes the phone feel a lot more expensive and premium, which honestly compared to this phone, it is a lot more premium. Now this is how things look on the camera apps on both devices. This is the main rear camera right now. Now keep in mind, with these phones on the back of them, they both have dual camera setups, and both devices do have 50 megapixel main cameras, and then with the G Stylus 5G 2024, we're getting a 13 megapixel ultra wide angle camera compared to an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with the G Stylus 5G 2023. But again, here's how things look at the main camera. Then from there, we can go over to 0.5 to access the ultra wide cameras. So with the ultra wide, you can fit a lot more content into a single frame here. We're also getting portrait mode as well, so you get those nice blurred out backgrounds. Flipping around here to the front-facing cameras on both phones, you can also take portrait selfies in addition to standard selfies, and I also appreciate too that you can crop out a little bit for a group selfie. So definitely a lot of different camera features here with these devices. You can see even getting further into here on the More tab, we actually have more options available on the G Stylus 5G 2024, but you are getting cool features like dual capture. You're also getting ultra res, which means you can capture images in the full 50 megapixels. So even though these phones are meant to be more like mid-range devices, you're still getting a lot of flagship level features with these phones. So I really like that there's really not too much of a compromise here. And then when it comes to video recording, the G Stylus 5G 2024 supports 4K video recording with both front and rear cameras, and then with the 2023 model, we also get 4K video recording with the rear camera, but then only 1080p with the front-facing camera. Now moving on to RAM and processor. Now both of these phones actually have the same processor, which is a bit of a surprise considering they are different generations, but they both have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 6 Gen 1. Now the good news is that's actually a very capable processor, so expect to get very good performance from it, almost a near flagship level. So the 600 series or the 6 series from Qualcomm really has come a long way, and in general I haven't found these phones to be slow at all. And especially the G Stylus 5G 2024, I feel like this phone is especially optimized, and of course, it is running Android 14 out of the box, and the 2023 model recently got that update to Android 14 as well, but overall, I have found performance to be pretty similar with the two devices. Now, of course, having less RAM here with the G Stylus 5G 2023 is a downgrade, but both phones do still run very well. Now, I did run a benchmark test on both phones using Geekbench 6, and here are the scores that I got from that test. Now, interestingly, the G Stylus 5G 2024 scored slightly lower in the single core, but then for the multi-core, it scored better. Now, these scores are honestly very close. I would almost consider it a tie, so keep that in mind. But again, both of these phones do perform very well, especially for being mid-range devices. Now, both devices do feature 5,000 mAh internal batteries, except with the G Stylus 5G 2024, this phone can recharge up to 30 watts, compared to 20 watt fast charging with the G Stylus 2023. So that's 50% faster charging here with the new model of the device. Now, both phones do have NFC. They also both have stereo speakers. One big difference though is the materials, so we are getting this kind of nice matte wavy look here on the G Stylus 5G 2023, but going over to the 2024 model of the phone, we have this new material called vegan leather. So it's pretty self-explanatory, basically feels like leather, but it is not. And honestly, it's a nice material. It feels a little bit rubbery, but in a good way. It just feels like a good quality material, and it really doesn't make the phone slide around in your hand at all. But taking a look at the left side of the two devices, we just have the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card. On the right side, we have volume up, volume down, and the power button. And then on the G Stylus 5G 2023, the power button does double as the fingerprint sensor. Then up top here in both phones, we have the noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, speaker, and then the stylus. And then on the back of the two devices, I already mentioned the differences here in material, but you can see the camera modules look somewhat similar, but also they are different. Now, there haven't been too many actual changes when it comes to the styluses on these phones. They are differently designed, but I'll show you the differences right now. So here it is here with the G Stylus 5G 2024 compared to the 2023 model of the device. So you can see first thing is the interface here is slightly different despite both of these phones being updated to Android 14. But you can see here the styluses are different in size, so I wouldn't say one way is necessarily better than the other. I suppose with the G Stylus 5G 2024, it's a little bit more ergonomic to use this stylus, but both are very responsive and honestly both really do work well. Whether it's navigating around the devices or drawing or writing a signature or anything like that, the styluses are definitely very useful to have. Now this concludes my comparison of the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2024 versus the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2023. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it to be interesting. If you liked it, definitely give it a thumbs up. But this is Kevin here, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.